Officially good afternoon and welcome to 2013 Northeast District IDSA Conference. I'm glad to have everybody here. We have a fantastic couple of days installed for you. I also wanted to introduce you to Hartford. Welcome to Hartford. Welcome to the city where we have the oldest museum in America. And we'll have Cecil up here a little bit to give us a brief intro about Hartford. Quick set of hands. How many people consider themselves locals? Just so I can get a hand of sort of, okay, so not, more than actually I would have thought, although we do have a few people that weren't able to come in from Boston, so maybe they would consider themselves local as well. We'll see. Anyway, I hope you're already enjoying yourselves with the workshops attending this morning. We had folks lining up to attend Angela Ye's workshop. We had folks for GrabCAD, the challenge, which was just announced, and we also have we had the folks from Shapeways also in the workshops this morning. So I'm glad that hopefully you got a chance to enjoy those. Before we get into too many details, what I want to do real quick is I'm going to do a quick test for you. Bear with me while I get this up and running. This is a little unorthodox, but we are here to talk about color. So I'm doing this impromptu little optical illusion test for you guys. And here's the challenge. There's two sets of dots here. On in one of these, there's only one set of dots that's exactly the same in both sides. Now, to speed things up here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you that there's three options that you can choose from. There's the gray option, there's the orange option, and there's the green option. So, show of hands, how many people think it's the green option? One person, okay. How many people think it's the orange option? Okay. And so with more hands going up there. So okay, and then how many people? So let me test this out real quick. So we said green option. Does that look the same? No. How about the orange option? So we had a lot more folks choosing the orange option. How about that? Is that the same color? So for those that chose the gray option, put your hands up. Obviously, now everybody's going to put their hands up, right? So lo and behold, there's your answer. Now, I just want to do this quick test because I wanted to showcase the contextual importance of color. Now, Rama, who's in the room as well, this is something that was done by a couple of folks before. So if you've seen these sort of things happen before, if you've seen these tests before, you obviously, some of you may have already, so that's why a lot more people chose gray. But you can see how that test sort of illustrates color and the importance of color in context with other colors, with light, and your background. And that's what I wanted to sort of emphasize a little bit today. So before we get started, though, I wanted to do, on a serious note, is just a moment of silence to kind of pay homage to the tough week we've all had. We've had some interesting developments that have occurred, so unfortunately we can't live in a vacuum, and it affects us. It affected about 50 or 60 people that would have liked to have been here with you today, and they weren't able to come. So I wanted to just take a moment and think about what happened on Monday. Hopefully we'll have a peaceful resolution and we can get back to normal, whatever the new normal is. So, bringing back things to context, again, I'm really happy to have you here we're talking about the color of design. So when I thought about what would be a great topic or theme for our conference, we really wanted we can talk for weeks probably about this sort of thing. So I wanted to focus in on sub-themes here, and we're talking about trends, we're talking about culture, and we're talking about technology. And I'm really excited to have a great set of speakers, but I wanted to kind of level set here with a couple of things of my own. So walking down, as we were getting the planning process through this, I wanted to ask you guys to start thinking of what's been inspiring you as designers. What kind of color has inspired you? So I was walking down the streets of New York City, and I also happen to know, you probably have seen this as well, outside Pantone has a booth, and Lori, not to spill the beans, but Pantone is the emerald green is the color of the year. I'm sure you're going to be talking about that, but it's already out there, so, So, exactly. For the folks in the room, but when you go out and walk around the city, I saw that all over the place. So when you walk into a store, you look at things even in window shops. What I thought I'd highlight here, there's also an interesting movie that came out earlier this year, sort of a prequel to The Wizard of Oz. So I guess the question to you is, what came first, I wonder? Were you thinking of the color, or the movie had already been being filmed? I mean, it's interesting. Emerald City, interesting fact that it actually came out the year of this color. So pretty fun sort of experiment, but. Absolutely. Great. So these are the kinds of things I wanted to get us to start thinking about. Just as another example is, I was looking through this the other day, and I was looking to myself and said, well, what was the Apple logo? What did it look like a couple of years, many years ago? And it seemed like over the years they've taken the colors out of their logo and that they've applied them to their products. So it's kind of fun to see that a little bit. The other thing that I think is really important to touch on, and we'll talk about that tomorrow, is color and culture. Now, everybody has a different background, so I just thought I'd go to the farthest place that I was recently at last year, and having an opportunity to go to India. And they just, every spring, they celebrate Holi, which is their color festival. And it's a great opportunity to kind of showcase that really colorful cultural aspect of their country. We'll also have great examples from a number of our speakers talking about emotions and how those sort of affect us. So when you think of color, what is the first thing that comes to mind for you? And the obvious ones are color of love is red. When you're feeling down, you're feeling blue. If you see a bull coming towards you, it's probably because you're wearing red. All these different things, different perspectives. We just had politics ended last season, where we have the differences between red states and blue states. So you have this sort of constant context, and depending on your culture, those colors mean totally different things. For those that are sports fans in the audience, I thought I'd also highlight, some people might think that color, the first color that comes to mind, well, they say when we think of green, may not be environmental, or may not be John Deere tractors, but it might be actually Boston Celtics or some other team. So when you look at that, again, we see the different contexts in color. And when you can see that as it applies to a map. So we put it in context. Again, certain colors might mean something completely different depending on where you are. So that's an interesting example. So for those college fans as well, you can see again the colors change on the map depending on where you're from. And if you take that to a bigger perspective, if you're looking at international sports, you're looking at that culture in a totally different, larger sense, things change again. Look at, for example, this Twitter feed from the World the World Cup, and you can see different countries and the colors that apply to those different countries. So when you look at that, that's sort of a cultural perspective. And when you think about technology and how things are changing there, you can consider we'll have opportunity to hear from experts on light and how it impacts the choices that we make and how one versus affects the other. So I'm really looking forward to hearing a lot of our experts touch on these topics, including the limitations that we have today with technology. I was talking to folks, Robert, we talked about that before, about the limits of technology, and let's see, the screens that we can actually project and the amount of colors that we can see on a particular screen. This included, so you can see the limitations that I had in terms of projecting the little illusion that I gave you at the very beginning. So, another thing I wanted to highlight is there's a higher percentage of males that are colorblind than females. And how does that affect how we perceive color? And everybody actually potentially could be seeing things differently. So there's even an app for that. So if you go to your smartphones, you can probably download a colorblind test app. And I did it the other day, and luckily I'm not colorblind. But I really had to struggle through a couple of them. And as we age, that affects us even more so. So how interesting is that? When you start to think about retirement and your ability to spend more time in museums and enjoy things of beauty like art, your color perception actually decreases. So if you're going to go see something, go do it now that you're young, okay, everybody? So we saw examples of how color can be used to enhance design through our CAD challenge, computer-aided design challenge with GrabCAD and IDSA. And we have a fantastic program put together for you. I'm really excited. I'm going to call each and every one of those guys that are not able to get here so they can speed up and get here as soon as possible. We have a great environment, a great location for you set up, and a lot of things going on, parties. There's a meetup tonight going on. We have great section. So here's the schedule for today, just to give you a heads up. I'm doing the welcome. We're going to have Cecil come up and kind of welcome you officially to Hartford. And we're going to have Greg Dunlop kind of kick things off, and then we're going to have our fantastic speakers one by one, Donald, Lori, Hamish, Tiffany, and George, taking us through the section 1 about color and trends. Then we'll get a chance to take a little break there and then go into the round table. So hold your questions for that time, because we're going to have a lot of things that we're going to want to cover. And then we'll end the evening with the portfolio review and then a great night. So that's kind of the schedule. I wanted to keep things off, so what I'm going to do right now is going to basically get right into it. And when we look at the opportunities we'll have, when we look at Saturday's schedule, I'll go over tomorrow. And so why don't I just kick things off? We have a packed 2 days. Let's get started. So I'm going to welcome Cecil to the table here real quick to introduce you. Just real quick as a reminder, Cecil Adams has over 32 years of experience, including here at the Walsworth Atheneum Museum of Art. In addition to his exhibition design skills, he's, in terms of his track record, over 350 exhibits. He's been a member of the Museum Facilities Committee for more than 12 years. So he manages the design department. So that's fantastic. Love to hear more about it. And please welcome Cecil. Thank you, Cecil. Yeah.